Head over to Waldo Stadium in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where Western Michigan's hosting Ohio. All right, we're looking at two teams, big dogs in the MAC right now on Maction. Okay, and winner of this, you mentioned, going to be putting themselves in a very good position to potentially be making the MAC championship here in a couple weeks. The spread reflects that this is a competitive game. The spread reflects that these are two very good teams. Ohio, Western Michigan. Western Michigan catching 1.5 points here. CD, you're a resident MAC guy, so I look. I got a feeling I know where you're going to go with this, but take us there.
Yeah, Ohio coming off a huge, hard fought, intense, great atmosphere of a game at the Battle of the Bricks against Miami just a week ago from watching this here. Western Michigan's off a bye prior to that, but just 10 days ago, they were playing Miami as well. So you have common opponents there. Ohio gets the win, Western Michigan loses. It'll be interesting to see whose style of play is dictated here. What I mean by that is like Ohio in the conference of the MAC, they are your elite offensive team. They are fantastic in all phases of the game. The only concern maybe is pass protection. But what Parker Navarro does with the sack avoidance in terms of breaking tackles, not necessarily his pocket presence, his breaking tackles. And of course, the weapons, Rodney Harris and Chase Hendricks doing their things for OU plus C.A. Bangura. Fantastic running back in the MAC. They're really, really dominant. On the other side, Western Michigan, they get after you defensively. They are top two, right? They are second in the conference in passing, total, rushing, scoring, defense, all that kind of stuff. Like they are really, really solid. And of course, they got the defensive end, all MAC guy, Nadame Tucker's got 9.5 sacks on the year, 3 forced fumbles. That could be a huge game changer there, getting after Navarro, getting him down to the ground, which teams have struggled to do. My question for Western Michigan is, do you have faith in them to move the football consistently? And if they can't move the ball on the ground, which Ohio is better at stop and run than they are to pass, if you can't get to them on the ground, do you trust Brock Lowry and those receivers to move the ball against Ohio? Because you're probably going to have to put up some points here. You don't have to score 30, but it's probably going to be closer in the 20s than it is going to be in the teens. So you're going to need to move the football. Do you have faith in them doing that? I lean no here. What about you?
I like Western Michigan in this spot. I do. And a lot of it more so has to do with the dynamic of this game. All right, Western Michigan at home has been incredible. Like they've actually been incredible. Their only loss came in overtime to a what? A North Texas team that is, by the way, plus 200 to make the college football playoffs. They have better odds to make the college football playoffs than Utah, BYU, USC, Duke. Right now is like the favorite to win the ACC. Like that's a very good football team. All right. And they found a way to put up points on them as well. Enough, I should say. I don't think you have to score. You don't have to score 30 points against this Ohio team. Ohio in themselves, I don't think has necessarily been a great road team. All right. I love Parker Navarro. I think Saya Bangura is phenomenal in that color. All right. Get him out of the maroon. All right. Get him in that Ohio green. Come on. And yeah, you talked about Harris, Hendricks. I mean, like, incredible players for Ohio. But I look at this Western Michigan team and offensively, like you asked, like, can they do enough? I think you absolutely can. I think this Ohio defense is okay. All right. I think in terms of like within the MAC conference, I don't think it's a bottom half defense by any stretch of the imagination. But it's not Loctite enough to, just expect to not be a little bit leaky on the road like they have been in some of these big spots. I mean, you think about like games that they had to go to on the road. Ball State, the offense did not show up. Weird stuff happens. Mikey Rimovich gets a win there in the MAC. You go on the road to Eastern Michigan. That was a bit of a dicey game. You went on the road to Rutgers against a really good, like a team that's better than you. And I thought you actually played well and could have won that game, but defense a little bit leaky there in that game. I just think that Ohio is a much better team at home than on the road, and Western Michigan is a very much better team at home than on the road. That dynamic is huge, and against two teams that, of course, want to play opposite styles, The team that's bringing the offense on the road, I don't know if I trust that enough, even though I love Brian Smith, phenomenal coach. You and I both thought that was a great hire. I just feel like that there's if this was flipped, right, and you're bringing the defense, all right, on the road, I'd feel a little bit better about that. But I'm not sure that the offense is going to travel the way that Ohio wants it to. I think Western Michigan is still a really good football team. I don't think people are talking enough about them. Can't wait for people to start talking about them as a potential MAC team here. I think they get the win in this spot. I really do.
Yeah, if you're looking at like how to replicate success for Western Michigan in this spot here, you go back just a month or so against Toledo in the opening weekend of the MAC, and they get a win there 14-13 at home, and they held a very good offense when Tucker Gleason struggled to throw the football. 15-30 for 89 yards and 2 interceptions. They held Junior Vandeross, one of the best wide receivers in the MAC, to 3 yards on 4 catches. Of course, Chip Trinum had his, but we expect Vancouver to have that as well. So, listen, I mean, it's there. There's proof in the pudding there, of course, with this Western Michigan defense. But Miami just 10 days ago had over 400 yards of offense. Daquan Finn had 260. The team had 150 on the ground. I see a very similar kind of game here that Ohio comes out, and they come out on top here. They thrived on the big plays against Miami. I think they replicate that a little bit. I think Brian Smith gets them going and ready to go up against Lance Taylor's damn good coach for Western Michigan. These two very good coaches there. Of course, Brian Smith a little bit more on the green end. I know, no pun intended right there for the Bobcats, but a little bit more newer to the MAC. But of course, it's had a great year in year one. It's Tuesday night Maction. It's hard to go against the road team here, or it's hard to go with the road team here, especially two of the top teams in the MAC here. But listen, I like Ohio here.